Every dad wants more energy. Every athlete wants more progress. But how do you structure training when you want both strength and endurance without burning out or stealing time from your family? Welcome back to the Hybrid Athlete Dad Podcast. In today's episode, I'm going to be discussing how to build your own hybrid training plan. Now, before we get into today's episode, I like to go over anything in my life that I think that you may find beneficial, interesting, or useful. Now, diving into today's episode, did squats for the first time in a while. I'd done hack squats, I'd been doing Bulgarian split squats, and then we had this squat machine at our gym. I had held off because in the past I felt like I had injured my back, I'd injured my legs a little bit doing squats, but now ready to get back into it and start doing it again. Felt good. Legs were absolutely destroyed. I did that last Wednesday and trying to run on Thursday and Friday was definitely and even that Wednesday, a little bit difficult, but made sure to get through it. And it was nice, was able to do 225 for 6. Would prefer to continue to go up from there. And that was my fourth set. So I just started off light. I just want to see how it felt. And I did, I believe, 185 for 6, 195 for 6, 205 for 6, and then threw up 225 for 6. And I want to make sure, like, when I'm doing these squats, that I'm going all the way down. I'm not cheating myself. I've seen folks at the gym where I'm sure, if you've been to a gym and folks are doing squat and they have a lot of weight on the bar, but they're not going all the way down. For me, like, I'd rather, try to be as parallel. I have my butt a little bit below my knees if possible, to a certain degree. So I felt great doing squats again and getting back into that. And then the next day on Thursday, I had been getting back into deadlifts as well. Took a little bit of break from those and now getting back into them. So I was able to deadlift 335 for 3. So that's just, I do sumo deadlifts. So I have my left arm, facing out, or my left wrist facing out, my right wrist facing in towards me. And I do sort of like a rest pause. So I lift it up, drop it, put it down for a sec, bring it back up. So I'm not trying to use any momentum while I'm doing these deadlifts. So did the deadlifts, felt great. That was the first exercise. I do 4 sets of anywhere from 4 to 5. So the way that looked like is I did 335 for 3, 325 for 5, 325 for 4, 315 for 5. So started the workout like that. And then later that day, because our daughter's at daycare had been closed for Veterans Day, and we're trying to pick up some mileage because usually Tuesdays at the moment right now is when I'll get up and do my long runs for the week, typically anywhere from 7 to 10 miles right now. I used to do them on Fridays. When I was in my marathon training, I would do them on Saturdays, but now with Fridays, I don't know how my schedule is going to shape up, especially being part of our volunteer ambulance service. So if I am out all night, I would prefer to not have to get up and do this running. So I ended up doing the deadlifts and then on Thursday, and then ran 9 miles that day. If I could get that out correctly, that honestly, it didn't feel that bad. I got through it. I pushed myself through it and came out better because of it. But I typically don't like doing a large mileage on the days where I do like squats and deadlifts. I don't mind doing it on the days that I bench, even though I might be a little bit sore. But was able again to run those 9 miles at like a decent pace, like 8:15, 8:20. I noticed ever since it's become colder, my pace has definitely come down a little bit, anywhere from about 8:15. Honestly, 8:15, 8:20 minute per mile pace is what I'm running at right now. So that feels good, strong. Definitely dealing with a little bit of the wind these days. It's like this the morning run that I did today. Half the run I'm running with the wind, half the run I'm running against the wind. And, when I'm running with it, it pushes me ahead, and then I'm running against it. I just feel like I have cinder blocks on my feet, but still going to get out there and deal with the elements because I enjoy running. Now, with that said, let's hop into today's episode, which again is how to build your own hybrid training plan. Now, when I first combined running and lifting, I had no idea what to do. I had no idea how to structure it. I had no idea how to put together a plan in place. I had no idea how that would work for me because one, I'd only done lifting, I'd never done running. Now I'm trying to incorporate running. What is that going to look like? Now, what I'm used to just doing about one workout. At the time, I was just lifting Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Now I'm incorporating running into my workout. Like, what is that going to look like? How do I make time for that in an already busy schedule? So over probably since I've been tuned into, doing the endurance training, doing the strength training for about probably almost coming up on 2 years now, I had to learn a lot. And that's what I really hope that you get from today's episode. So when you are thinking about becoming, okay, I want to do this hybrid training, I want to do this running, I want to do this lifting, what is one primary goal that you have? Is it a half marathon? Marathon? Is it a powerlifting PR goal? Is it a triathlon? Is it just general fitness? Like for me right now, I'm in that general fitness phase where I'm just trying to do running, I'm trying to do lifting. I mean, I could go out and do a half marathon, but I'm not building towards a full marathon. I'm not working towards triathlon. I'm not doing powerlifting. I'm just doing general dad, fitness as I would call it. So when it comes to this hybrid training, it's like, how do I split what I'm looking to do without losing my other skills? So like if I was doing a marathon run, which I had done, I made the mistake of still trying to strength train 4 days a week. If I could go back, I would strength train 2 days per week. So my goal was to run a marathon, but I didn't really have any plan with it. I just wanted to keep lifting. Now that I'm, in that general dad fitness phase, I'm doing 5 days a week lifting, 5 days a week running. Now, if I was in my triathlon phase, I would cut back a little bit on the lifting because it would just be hard to get 5 lifts in a week on top of running, which I'm used to, but it's more the biking and the swimming that I would have to build up. So for me, it's just picking like what's that one primary goal? Is it a half marathon? Is a little bit more emphasis on running, or is it more on lifting? Like for me, I focus more on lifting than I do running, and because of that, I lift first and then I run second. Sometimes folks find running more important, so they'll run first and then they'll lift second. But for me, that's what I do. Is I prefer lifting, and that's what I'm working towards. And then running is just a part of my routine that I do each day. How many days can you realistically train? For me, I know if I train hard 5 days during the week, I can take the weekends off. Not that I'm going to take the weekends off for my nutrition, but I can take the weekends off from running and lifting and just mentally just allowing myself to get that reset. Now, how many days do you think that you could realistically train? And are you going to work out in the AM? Are you going to work out in the PM? For me, the most energy that I have is going to be in the morning. If I waited for my lifts later in the day, I don't think that I would have it. Trying to run later in the day after I've had my lunch, it feels absolutely terrible. So I find that getting both my workouts done within about 2 or 3 hours, probably about 2 hours apart, an hour apart sometimes, in the morning, even though I just done a workout a little while ago and I left the gym at 6:45, now I'm running again at 8 a.m. That's just what works best for me, my schedule. And you need to match a plan that works with your life. Maybe working out the way I do, that doesn't work. Maybe you have to work out later in the night. Maybe you have to work out even earlier in the morning. Maybe you run first and then you lift second. But that is just what works best for me. And it's coming up with your split. So for me, it's just 5-5. So 5 strength training days, 5 endurance or running days. And I say endurance, but it's really, 4 days running about 5 miles, maybe one day running 7 miles, and the next day doing a long run of 7 to 10 miles, and incorporating that into my plan. Now, when it comes to my weekly structure and the way that I like to set it up is on Mondays and Thursdays, I'll do back, biceps, or I'll do back, shoulders, and triceps. Tuesdays and Fridays, I'll do bicep and back. On Wednesdays, I'll do lower body, legs, and then pretty much each day I like to incorporate some sort of ab routine Typically, I'll do 3 sets of 10, 3 sets of 15. I do that once on Monday, twice on Tuesday, none on Wednesday, once on Thursday, 3 times on Friday. And then the running as well. I'll run 5 miles, 5 on Monday, 7 to 10 on Tuesday, 5 on Wednesday, 5 on Friday, and then on Thursday I'm running 5 miles, but I'm also running 2 miles after my workout on the treadmill. I just like doing that once a week. I like to put my hardest sessions when I know I'm going to have time to recover. So that's why I like putting my runs on Tuesdays where my body isn't beat up throughout the week. I know that I still have time to recover through the remainder of the week. Now, when it comes to your progression and what that looks like, so when it came to me for running, I just started off running in the neighborhood right next to myself and running around that neighborhood, and coming back was a little over a mile and a half. And then over time, I gradually increased it. I would go 2 miles Monday, 2 miles Wednesday, 3 miles Friday, 3 miles Monday, 3 miles Tuesday, or 3 miles Wednesday, whatever, 4 miles Friday. And that's how I sort of increased it over time. Now, when it comes to my strength training, I really like hypertrophy training. So what that means is I'm typically doing about 3 sets per exercise. And I'm looking for anywhere from 8 to 12 reps. So my goal is let's say I bench 185 for 8. Now my goal next week is to bench 185 for 9, 185 for 10, maybe 185 for 12. Okay, bam, I hit 185. Okay, now let me go up for 195. Now I'm going up to 195 for 8. Sometimes I'll go 185 for, let's say, 10. I want to go up. I'm like, okay, like not hitting 12, but I feel confident. Let me do 195. I do 195 for 6. Obviously, that's not 8 to 12. Okay, now I want to do 185 for 10 again. And then maybe next week I do 195 for 7. And even though like I'm maybe not hitting that 6, if I'm being stagnant on those 8 to 12 reps, I'll still push myself to go further and to lift more weight. So that way, every time I go into the gym, I'm lifting a little bit more, or I'm doing a little bit more reps. Now, some of the metrics you should track are definitely your sleep, how many hours you're getting a night. At the end of the day, only you know what works best for you. I know when I get 7 to 8 hours of sleep, I feel great. When I get 6.5 hours of sleep, I feel a little sluggish. How's your morning energy? Do you wake up rejuvenated? Do you feel ready to go? Or are you more fatigued? And how much do you want to train? Some people don't like going to the gym, or would prefer not to go to the gym every day. Some people don't want to run every day. It's really what works best for you. Like I told you, I don't enjoy working out on the weekends. I prefer to get it done Monday through Friday so I can enjoy time with my family on the weekends. Now, when it comes to recovery, it's always, for me, it's always, again, prioritizing sleep, making sure I get good sleep. It's making sure that I have protein in every meal. It's making sure that I'm taking time to unwind, to stretch, to take time for myself, that I'm taking the right supplements at the right time of the day. Because if you can't recover from your training, it's not a good hybrid plan. It's just stress. Like I don't want to be stressed out working out. I don't want to work out so much I can't enjoy time with my wife and my daughter because I'm just absolutely exhausted. Like that's just not a place that I want to be in. Now, some of the tools that I recommend to make your life a little bit easier is using a tool such as Garmin. So I have the Garmin Forerunner 965. You don't necessarily need one. I think I'd spent a decent amount on it because I thought I was going to be more into triathlons, and it can track swimming and biking a little bit better. But I've honestly only been doing really running since I've had it, so I probably could have been a little bit cheaper. But I do like the Garmin watch. I can track my workouts. I can track my recovery time. I can track how many calories I burned in a day. I can track how many miles I've logged in a month, in a week. I can track how many miles I have on my shoes. And then I have the Notes app on my phone, which I have my pre-planned workouts, so I know every single day exactly what I'm going to be doing. And then every 3 to 4 weeks, I'll switch it up. So like today, as an example, to switch up the exercises in my session. So on today I did bend over barbell rows. Next week I'll do T-bar rows. Today I did the lat pull down machine with like the pulley, and then next week I'll do the lat pull down machine, like the actual machine that you see, not the one with like the pulley extension. I did single arm. Geez, the name is it's single arm cable rows. That's what I was looking for. And I was doing single arm cable rows, and then I'll mix it up and I'll do cable rows. So I'll do a similar exercise to what I was doing before, but I'll just switch it up a little bit so that it's just a little bit different. And you really just got to have your workouts pre-planned out, written down, whether that's just taking some time to go through and figure out what works best for you. Because if you're trying to write it on the fly, it's just going to be so difficult for you to do that. It's just not going to be easy. It's easy to forget. Like, I don't want you showing up at the gym being like, okay, like, what am I going to be doing today? Same thing with running. Like, I know exactly what route I'm running, which day of the week, how far I'm going. So that way I don't have to think about it. I can just get up, I can go out there, I can get that run done. Now, as we come towards the end of this podcast episode today, remember, pick a primary goal that works for you, match your time availability to what that goal is and what works best for you, and use the weekly hybrid structure, whether that's running twice a week, heavy lifting 5 days a week, whether it's running 5 times a week, doing heavy lifting twice a week, really whatever works best for you. Because at the end of the day, we aren't just training for finish lines, we're training to show up better for our families. Now, I hope you enjoyed today's episode on how to create your own hybrid athlete training plan. I hope you tune into next week's episode where I discuss why every dad should do strength training.